Hi, this is Wagremo and welcome to my channel. Today I will highlight some of the TED Talks I've been watching lately, and I want to share with you some points of view that I got from those TED Talks. I want to share to you what I've learned because I know you will learn something from that too. And the first one is John Day's TED Talk is entitled Life is Easy. Why do we make it so hard? That is just a mind-blowing statement that I've encountered. If we have that mindset, we can see that life can be easy. John Day is a farmer in Thailand who founded Pun Seste, if I pronounce it correctly, for self-reliance and an organic farm. Life can be so easy if you live simply also. And sometimes the complications in life are coming from the fact that we want more. The talk was meant to tell us is that if you can live simply, then life can be so easy. Something to think about, right? In my mom's garden, we also have like some tanim na kalamansi, sili, papaya, atis, bayabas, kamyas. So there's a certain farm-to-table thing happening in the city, in our home at least. And I think we can start with that also, a part of something that you can use for food. It's to really live within your means also, and to have this kind of mindset. Life is easy, so please do not make it hard. For you and for other people. Okay, the second TED Talk that I've encountered is from Katharina Blum. You don't find happiness, you create it. She highlighted the fact that happiness comes from relationships, not from things, not from the properties that we own, not from the careers that we have. It's from the relationships. The relationship that you have with your family, the relationship that you create in the workplace. So no matter what position you have in your workplace, you are happy, or you can be happy because of the relationships that you have there. And she also highlighted that there should not just be positive thinking, there should be more of positive action. So more of, if you have changed the mindset already, you have to do something about it. That is the thing about this TED Talk. It created an impact on me because I've always believed in positive thinking, but I never highlighted the fact that positive thinking leads to positive action. And this particular TED Talk is a reminder of that. Especially this coming Christmas, we will be very limited in terms of our interaction with other people. So wala na rin yung mga inaanak na bumibisita sa bahay, or kayo na bumibisita sa pamilya nyo. Yung mga family reunions na nangyayari pag Pasko, or yung mga gatherings nyo with your barkada na nangyayari rin during the season, mawawala na siya, or nawawala na siya, or nababawasan siya. The get-togethers that I usually have during Christmas with my friends in college or in my past workplaces will never happen this year because we decided that we'll just rather have Zoom parties so that it will be safer for all of us. Even though you are limited with regards to the movements that you have this Christmas, you can create another Christmas tradition. And this time, considering the fact that we are still in a pandemic. Kami naman, well, there will still be Noche Buena with the family because, as I've said, we are just living in close proximity with each other. We can hold a Noche Buena and a Medianoche. But for most of the things that I usually do, to be with friends and other loved ones, that might be limited this year. But it doesn't mean that we will not be happy. We will create another Christmas tradition. The third TED Talk that I encountered was from Lexi Alford. It's the life lessons from the youngest person to travel to every country. Yes, she is still now, I think, the youngest person that was able to travel to every country in the world. And when I was watching her, I remembered my own pursuit to travel to other countries. I started traveling in 1995, and ever since, I would travel to one country or another. of course, on a budget. And during that time, remember, there was no internet to speak up and no Facebook to post your pictures. So I have this photo albums, which I've also featured on my vlog. And the joy of traveling is something that you know if you have been traveling. And if you have not yet tried, you will see the education that you will get from traveling at the same time. And if you have not started traveling, I encourage you to travel, because when you travel, you will see how big the world is. And when you encounter other people, you will also say, the world is such a small place. But the world is a small and a big place. It's a big place because there are many things to explore, many countries to visit. But it's a small place because you will see the similarities in cultures, in people, and in the way we live our lives. I like to read what Lexi said on the TED Talk because it was so inspiring. She said, "When we subject ourselves from genuine discomfort and plunge to the unknown, that's when we learn to transcend the layers of our comfort zone, manage our fears, and become empowered by them." In traveling, sometimes you will encounter a lot of apprehensions and fears because you are in another country, sometimes not knowing anyone from that country. You do not speak their language, and communication might be limited to the tourist guide that you have. It's worth the experience, worth the time, it's worth the money. I think no traveler will tell you that their money was wasted because they enjoyed traveling. Traveling is something that will be forever in your mind, that you will always remember, and that will give you that kind of feeling of fulfillment that you were able to see some parts of the world. And I still intend to travel, but not now because I do not want the swab test. I feel na parang ang sakit-sakit ng swab test. So sana magkaroon na ng saliva test lang so that we can start traveling again with less fear. Of course, the vaccine is available, but hopefully by next year, it will be available for many so that a lot of people who would want to see the world again will start doing so. Kasi nga, when you see the world, you are outside your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is your own place, the place of your birth, your country. When you go out of your country, that is where the learning zone happens also. It's something nice to do, whether it's working abroad or it's just visiting other countries. It's something worthwhile to do and should be part of your bucket list. Marami naman mga murang biyahe, especially ngayon. Dati nga, puro lang travel agency. Ngayon, you can book your own flights, you can book your own hotels. But before, it was only through travel agencies, and you can do a lot of it cheaper. And that's something that you should do when you have the money. You have to save for it, but I'll assure you it will be worth your money. The other TED Talk that I found so amusing was from Lauren Singer. Why I Live a Zero Waste Life. What I found amazing is he put up like a small bottle containing the waste that she made for the past year. And it was so little that you can imagine, how did she let go of plastic, wherein a lot of the things that we buy have plastic in it? And it's so amazing how consciously she made an effort to make sure that she produced little waste or zero waste at all. From bringing her own mesh bags or containers when she shops or when she goes to the grocery, to producing her own soap, shampoo, etc. She will not be part of producing a lot of plastic containers that will just be thrown to the oceans. When I was growing up, there was less consciousness about this kind of thing. But I also realized that during the time that I was growing up, there were no water bottles still. The Philippines did not have the mineral water bottle. It just came, I think, I don't know if I'm not mistaken, after college, no? And it's something that we got from other countries as well. Now, right now, that's consciously one of the things that I do. I do not buy the mineral water. I just buy this large container of water. That's when I get my drinking water. I'm very, very far from what Lauren did in terms of living a zero waste lifestyle, but I try to do little things in order for me not to contribute anymore to the waste that can be created. I make sure that I have a mesh bag whenever I go to the grocery. I do not ask anymore for small packets. Like for example, if I buy something from the drugstore na maliit lang naman na gamot, hindi ko napapabalot dun sa maliit na plastic nila. It's something that I can just buy and just ask for the receipt. And consciously, again, I'm trying to make sure that I will be more environment friendly, but I'm not perfect. And because she was an environmental studies student in New York University, Lauren felt that she had to make, in order to have the idea not to produce any waste. This is such a big thing right now. We are letting the earth breathe. We are also taking care of our earth if we take care of our waste. Something to think about. Another TED Talk that I want to highlight is Mark LaRousse's What They Don't Tell You About Entrepreneurship. That it is sometimes lonely, and a lot of us are very interested in creating our own business because we know that it's exciting, it's something to look forward to in life, to work for ourselves or to work for our own company and to build our own companies, to not just be employees but be employers as well. But this particular TED Talk opened my eyes in saying that entrepreneurship can be so lonely, challenging, and so freaking hard. It's something that you have to plan also, not just because of your gut instinct, but have a reasonable planning before starting to quit your job and do your own business. We advise that if you started your own business, you have to ask for people's help, especially when you need one, that you have to share whatever you are going through with someone, because it can be lonely if you are just doing it by yourself and you do not have anyone that you can talk to. But definitely, starting your own business, he says, it's a quest. It's something that you will be excited to fulfill, something that will make you feel good every morning. And when the checks come in with little amount on it, that is when you realize that the quest is not yet over until you have those numbers. But definitely doesn't discourage us from starting our own business. He is just telling us the other side of the coin, which a lot of people forget because of the excitement of starting their own business. When I was only 23, I decided to quit my job and put up a burger store. And it's a burger store complete with a dine-in experience. It's something that I spent money on, and eventually after a year folded up, I just leased that particular place, and it's something that I do not regret, but at the same time I felt I should have planned better and not quit my job as soon as I opened the business, because you can actually have your own business now even if you have a job. I'd like to also highlight Lacey Filipich, why you should think about financial independence and mini retirement. It's something connected to building a business. Most of us would want to build our own business because we won't want to semi-retire in one way or another from the job that we have right now. Even though you love your job, it doesn't mean that you should not dream of creating something anymore in your life. And I think building a business or having some kind of sideline is something that you would want to pursue even though you love your job. And that is what Lacey Filipich is also saying to us, that we should have those mini retirements, in a sense that you don't wait for the big cash to arrive in order for you to have a vacation. You can have simple vacations. Make sure that you allot a percentage of your salary in order to have those mini retirements. You can also build a business to finance those mini retirements. As I've said, you can, the favorite word of Gary Vee is to hustle and to make sure that you create multiple sources of income. So one source of income can finance your mini retirements. This is along the line of FIRE, Financial Independence Retire Early movement. I think very popular now among young people, and it's something that I also recommend because I'm not young anymore. At ngayon pa lang ako nag-feeling FIRE. The sooner that you start saving or investing or being financially literate, the sooner that you will have those mini retirements, and something that will do good with your life, with the way that you live your life also, because you would not wait for a long time in order to enjoy a vacation if you have saved up for it and have planned for it. And also to make sure that you also don't get burnt out from the work that you do. She is also suggesting that there should be a money school, and it's nice now because in senior high school, financial literacy is something that is being taught now to our students. Okay. The next TED Talk that I want to highlight is Building a New Generation of Financial Freedom Seekers by Frances Cook. And she talked about FIRE also, and it's not as if that you would stop working. The way I understood it, FIRE means that we have to work, save, invest for the next 10 years, And then after 10 years, you can live off from your retirement, especially from the investment tools that you probably use, from stocks and all, no? Or from whatever business that you have. Anyway, it talks about like living frugally also for the next 10 years as you try to save and invest. It's a movement now that's gaining a lot of followers because they feel that they will be burned out, or they feel that working is something that you don't do all your life. Because for them, working should not be forever, but it doesn't mean that after they retire, even at the age of 40 or some even at the young age of 30, doesn't mean that they don't have to work. They will still work, but their lives are not dependent on the work. Most of us, aminin na natin, are working because our lives depend on the salary that we have. For them, it's like you can still work, but you can now do things that you are passionate about, and you are not pressured to stay in a company just because you need a salary to pay the bills. For them, the 10 years that you have allotted yourself to build your wealth is enough for you to at least live the life that you want after the 10 years. But then again, you can still work. It doesn't mean that you will just lay down in your house and just chill. No, it just means that you have the options now. You have the option to take the vacation. You have the option to take a job. You have the option to create your own business without you worrying about your bills or without you worrying about money. It's something to study also, and if you are at that stage wherein you feel that you can do it. Okay, ang nakuha ko din is living frugally. Sometimes it's hard. If we cannot live frugally, we can live within our means or below our means, below the salary that we receive. Another TED Talk that I would want to share with you is that of Nick Vujicic, Overcoming Hopelessness. We know him as someone who was born with no arms and with no legs, and how he overcame these limitations throughout his life. Now he's married, he has a family, and he's one of the most sought after inspirational speakers in the world today. And that is one example already for us to look at ourselves and see our limitations, that we can do anything that we would want to pursue, because nothing is impossible, just our minds limiting our dreams. And for him, it's very important to impart the message of hope, that you should never be hopeless, because if that happened to you, you might not be able to know what to do. And just like him, he had his struggles, he had his lonely nights, he had the moments wherein he was hopeless. But knowing how life turns around for someone who believes in God, he's sharing this message of hope to everyone, that whatever you are experiencing right now, whatever limitations you feel that you have in your life, whatever bad things or tragedies that have happened, know for a fact that there's always hope. He talked about changing obstacles into opportunities, because as I've said, he is now a sought after inspirational speaker because of the way he lived his life, because of the way he overcame these limitations that are so overwhelming, especially for a young person like him, especially when he was starting to realize what the world is. He also cited the quotation by William Barclay when he says that the greatest 2 days of your life is the day that you were born and the day you knew why. Know your purpose. You have a purpose in life, no matter where you are in your life right now. You have a purpose, and live that purpose. Nick also shared the time when he was praying that things will get better. He realized that when you do not get the miracle, you can be a miracle to someone else. There's this TED Talk by Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, which was life-changing for me also when I read it a few years back. Why the Rich Are Getting Richer by Robert Kiyosaki. If you have not read the book, I highly recommend it. It's something that will open your minds in terms of financial literacy. He just cited in his TED Talk speech that committing mistakes is a way to learn. Do not be afraid that you have committed a lot of mistakes in your life. This are learning. This is something that is part of the journey. He also wanted us to know the importance of words, knowing that the word was made flesh. In the Bible, we know that every word that you utter can manifest the things that you would want to happen in your life. So be careful with using words. I remember when I was growing up, there was little financial education in school. Most of the financial education that you will receive definitely will come from your parents. But more often than not, people don't talk about money or the way to earn. They just talk about budgeting your money. A lot of people thought that education leads to being employees and not the possibility of being employers themselves. If you have nephews and nieces or your children, you have to make them realize how things can be better if they are financially literate, or the possibilities of being a business tycoon more than being an employee. And the last TED Talk that I want to share with you is again about entrepreneurship. It was by Phil Drolet. He says that why most entrepreneurs are slowly killing themselves. And he cited the fact that entrepreneurs would not have rest days, and he feels that they should take care of themselves also. He reminded entrepreneurs to have a work-life balance, or spending time with their family and friends is as important as spending their time with their business. And I think it also goes to us who are employees who have work to make sure that we have this work-life balance as well, to honor our weekends, to have our time with our family and friends in order not to be burned out, and in order for us to know that life is really meant to be lived, not just by working, but by also having good relationships. He also cited that if an entrepreneur practices work-life balance, he will be more productive and creative at the same time, because when you rest your mind from the work that you do, your mind is more clear of things that you would want. So there is clarity in your purpose, there is clarity in your action as well. We have to stop treating ourselves as a machine. We allow ourselves to work. Sometimes, di ba, kaya tayo nagkakasakit? It's really our body telling us that we should rest. It's really our body telling us that it's time to just relax, sleep, and take your mind off from work. Mahilig ako manood kasi ng TED Talks because I really learn a lot from other people's experiences, and that will save me a lot of time also not to commit the mistakes they made, and at the same time realize that the mistakes I made are part of the journey. Discover something nice sa Pinas, something nice sa buhay. Like and subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. God bless you.